Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 19 of Dames and Dorks.
Yay!
Back.
Sorry,
Yes.
I was trying to go more enthusiastic, but I
no,
just
go
woke
for
up
it.
from a nap from 10 minutes ago, and I'm still trying to wake up.
I'm still drinking my caffeine, so I understand. I'm Nadia of the Inside All Day podcast. Today, I am joined, obviously, by some beautiful women on the panel, and as well as our special guest. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll bring our guest on. Nomi. People don't know who you are. Let people know.
Hi, I'm Nomi without you. I do little slice of life videos on YouTube and here in between and games and stuff. So that's where you can mostly find me. That's who I am.
Very cool. Lily, how about you?
You could just find me all over Twitter trying to figure out what's going on with all the. We'll talk about it today.
Okay.
trying to put together exactly what's happening at the moment. But yeah, I'm mostly over there.
And Dr. Rachel.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel. You can find me mostly on Twitter at Saran_cosplay, sometimes on Instagram, sometimes on YouTube, on my channel Adeline Crafting. Just like Lily said, I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on. There seems like a lot of things everywhere, and it's been tough trying to just figure out everything, but that's what we're talking about today.
It's been a busy pop culture week, I will say, in the news, with a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of things going on. All right, let's bring on our guests. Joe!
Hello. Everybody.
Hey, Joe.
Hello.
Joe, if people don't know who you are you?
Yeah, that's actually pretty easy because to not know who I am, because I recently relaunched myself a few months ago as Real Joe Rosie on all social media, YouTube, Kick. But I used to actually be a Second Amendment advocate for several years. That's actually how I got online. I actually got into this space because I was interviewed by Young Ripa on his libertarian podcast. And I kind of am a little bit political, so
that's okay.
Yeah, and then I got basically into the gaming and pop culture space through that connection, and here I am a couple years later, and took a little hiatus from the gun stuff. I'll always be an advocate for gun rights, but just taking a little bit of a break and focusing on being a little bit of a gamer right now, and I'm gonna launch my YouTube channel soon, so that's where I'm at.
I always say women rights are gun rights, or gun rights are women rights.
Absolutely.
Vice versa. All right, yeah. Very cool, Joe. I'm very excited to have you on, especially since we're going to be talking about Sweet Baby and a lot of things going in the gaming community. We'll say hi to the chat, and then we'll pull up our first topic, kind of ease ourselves into today. So let's see with the chat. We have Smoo, who is one of our mods. Thank you, Smoo, for being here. Miss Sassy. Mongoose, as always, it's a pleasure to have you. Lawrence over here on Nomi's channel. Oh, and we are simulcasting off of Nomi's channel as well, Nomi Without You. So please hit the like button on the Inside All Day and Nomi's channel as well. And if you're not subscribed to either channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Rick, clearly, have you recovered, Nomi?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I did recover. So that's how much I had. I had a new bottle and didn't really go too crazy. And the next morning I went to the farmer's market. And what?
You're younger than me, I believe, right? That's why.
I'm 30. I'm only like 2 years younger than you.
That's still, believe me, that 2 years counts for something.
But total I had like 15 shots.
Oh wow.
God, my stomach. Wow. I can't imagine.
No, but I'm alive. I'm well. It was a fun stream. It was good. Good chats, good hangs.
If I didn't have my car break down on the way back from California, I totally would have caught it. But
I saw that.
A 4-hour trip turned into, let's see, we were supposed to be home by 2. We ended up being home by 9. So yeah, it was a fun time. Anthony Mark, a pleasure.
Oh,
did she freeze?
What happened?
Yeah,
oh no! Now her computer broke down. Oh my gosh!
Now the computer.
I'm so sorry. I lost internet there for a second.
Yeah, we were kind of concerned.
I know.
Yeah, I'm like,
I bet. Hold on. I bet my husband is playing Helldivers.
I wouldn't doubt that.
That's what it is. I'm gonna tell him right now.
That's
Oh
a
my
really
God.
addicting game, so I do not blame
I
him.
know. And Joe, I downloaded it last night per your request. I downloaded it.
Yeah.
I have it, but I haven't played it because it's, I don't know, it seems very intimidating. The community seems very intimidating.
No, it's actually the opposite. I feel like I've actually played with people I've never even spoken to just because of how intense everyone feels about, like, we gotta get in and play, we gotta save the world. And it's like, I played with like Hypnotic. I've never played with Hypnotic on video games before. I played with him twice. Like, it's just people I've never even played with. X-Wing. I got to know X-Wing by playing, and it was just like, we need a fourth. Get in here. It's like, okay, you know. So it's very cool. It's just I've never seen people come together and make new friends as it was with this game. So I highly recommend it. Just jump in and put yourself out there. Ask for, like, who wants to play with me? I bet you'll find people willing to get in.
My husband's been asking me. He's been asking me for me to play with him, play Helldivers, but I just haven't gotten. I play Baldur's Gate, Hogwarts Legacy. I just bought Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've never played. Those are my kind of vibe, but you know what? I'll try it. For you, Joe, I will try it.
Yes, let's go.
Let's see. We've got Rocky. Hello, everybody. And I think that might be it. If I missed anybody, I am so sorry. Did I miss somebody? Huh?
Tabitha's in here too.
Oh, Tabitha? Where are you, Tabitha? Oh, there you are. My internet. Hello, Tabitha.
Hey, Tabitha.
We got Zombie. Never want to forget Tabitha. I think that's it. Okay. All right, cool. Let's get into our first topic, which is a favorite of Miss Rachel. Well, not Miss Rachel, Dr. Rachel, because Miss Rachel's for kids.
Miss Rachel was me before 2020.
Yes.
Hey, she didn't go to 7 years of evil psych school just to be called Mrs. Rachel, okay?
Exactly.
Sorry about that. I think I shared Twitter instead of the actual YouTube channel. There we are.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. All right, The Crow.
There.
Did anybody see this trailer?
Yes.
Yep.
And
unfortunately, it sucks.
I was only able to go through it once. Like, I wanted to go through it a second time just to like refresh my memory and like do more nitpicky stuff, but I just did a once through and it was terrible. For me, it was just like bad music, the costume design was terrible, story, I liked that there was more between like the boyfriend and the girlfriend at the beginning before everything happens. Like, we see more of that, but just chemistry of the characters, a lot of the characters in general. I think it was bad casting, bad costume design, bad music. Not a fan. And it was just so like bloody, like really, really bloody. Not a fan.
I feel this is not made for us. This is totally a Gen Z thing.
Probably.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so. But as far as what Rachel said is like bad casting, I don't think Bill Skarsgård is a bad actor. I don't think this was his role.
Exactly.
Is he being typecast? Does anybody feel like he's being typecast? Because at this point, I feel like he was what's the clown one?
It.
He was also in a TV show. I forget the name, but he was a vampire. It was like a vampire / werewolf.
Yes. What was it? Hemlock Grove?
Hemlock Grove, which I actually loved that show and had
that was a good show.
Creepy vibe thing going. So at this point, I'm like, is he getting typecast? Is he purposely going for these roles, or he's just that weird looking that he just goes for those roles? I don't know.
Or maybe his agent, maybe his agent's just doing typecasting. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I'm kind of sick of seeing him in this type of role. Like, I'm done. I want him to try something else. I'm over it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he has a wide range of talent, but I think ever since he was Pennywise as well, he tends to be typecasted for more of the horror, like thriller side of things, where especially like in, what was it, Barbarian? He was in that as well. I would love to see him. I would love to see him more in other things, but also, I don't know, his look is very much the fit of what he's been typecasted as well. Yeah. He's got a very unique face. So I I think I'm the only one on this panel that just did not like the first Crow.
Really?
I watched it for the first time last year, and it was not my cup of tea. I just like, it was okay, but it wasn't the hype of what I thought everybody had made it out to be. And I think if I had seen it younger, maybe I would have that nostalgia for it, but it just didn't. Same thing with what's the Kurt Russell Gladiator too as well. I think overhyped, in my opinion. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. But you know what though? I really respect that, because I feel like when we look back on things fondly, our expectations in a different decade for movies and entertainment were different than they are currently today. So it's kind of like I always fondly remember Twinkies, as an adult, and I'm like, I used to love Twinkies, and then they came back, and then I had one, and it was god awful. So it's like, was it actually ever good, or am I remembering it with nostalgia? Or did my taste change? So same kind of concept with entertainment. I did the same kind of reaction with Batman, the original Batman, because I'm a huge Batman fan, and I was like, oh, there's no bad Batmans. And then I went back and watched the OG, and I'm like, okay, it's still a classic, but I definitely hyped it up in my mind a lot more. So I'm actually, now that you say that, I'm afraid to go back and watch The Crow and see how I react to it again.
So I did that, actually. The Crow, the 96 one, is my favorite movie of all time. I recognize there are a lot of problems with it. It is not a fantastic movie. I did watch it recently in the last 2 months. I recognize that it's not a fantastic movie. I recognize that it has a lot of problems, but personally, I still love the character. I still love the general storyline. I still love the casting of Brandon Lee. Excellent casting. I still love the music. It was one of those movies that I just saw at the right time in my life when my tastes were just perfectly aligned with it. Like, the first album I ever bought was the soundtrack to this movie. So it has a lot of nostalgia for me. I had it at the right time in my life. Again, I recognize there's a lot of bad things about the movie, but I still love it. And I'm okay with it.
But it holds up really well, though, because I saw it, I think, within the last month, too, and maybe it is just my nostalgia, but I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm like, I love it the same every single time I watch it. It held up. For me, I think it held up really well.
A lot of it still holds up.
Yeah, it's been a few years since I've seen The Crow, but the way I see it with this new one coming out is I don't think they can still capture the same cinematic image as they can do it for this one. Because the original Crow, I liked every angle, the darkness, the white, it had every right angle, every right lighting, where it made it creepy, made it eerie, and it followed the story well. Versus this one, it's too bright for me. If it makes sense. It's too much light versus the original Crow. It's dark.
I could see that. Maybe they're trying to go, because I feel so. My theory is that John Wick kind of changed a lot in the action thriller genre, and everyone is copying John Wick because of the success. I even saw the trailer for Beekeeper, and I was like, what is this? John Wick? But for bees? Like a beekeeper? Like, what's going on?
Oh, no. I love Beekeeper.
Really? Is it good? Is it worth the rental?
I really liked it.
I liked it.
It's just a stupid Jason Statham action flick, like any other, but it's wonderful. I really enjoyed it. It's a shut your brain off, enjoy the action kind of movie.
And I actually really liked the story of Beekeeper.
It was an interesting story.
Yeah, I actually cried a little bit. I was like, no, why would they do that? Or why would she do that? So it wasn't her fault. I'm not going to give out too much spoilers, but there you take with that.
I know what you're talking about, Nomi.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I enjoyed it. Whereas this one, I definitely feel you on the whole, John Wick very much changed the cinema of this type. And this trailer felt very John Wick to me rather than The Crow, rather than the character.
His tattoos are just so
I was going to say, I don't like his tattoos.
It's just the Joker.
His tattoos, every decision they made for him was terrible.
Yeah, it just looks like he walked into a tattoo shop and says, I want tattoos, but not really giving the tattoo artist any direction, what you want. Because when you go to a tattoo artist, you're going to want a piece of art on you, right? No, he just went I like this one. He just picked something that was on the wall.
No, he picked 50 things on the wall and said slap them on.
Yeah.
Now I did read that it was not based off of the original Crow. Apparently, it's based off of a graphic novel.
Yes.
Mhm.
Ah,
I actually have the graphic novel.
Okay.
Hmm. So maybe this
Have you
it
read it?
follows closer to the graphic. No, I haven't read it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's loosely based on the original, so it's not. It's definitely not what they're not considering it a remake per se.
Did they say this before or after everyone freaked out about it?
This I read this after, so I don't know when the original quote was from, but maybe they're trying to do some damage control. Like, well, we know that this doesn't look like what you were expecting, but we weren't going for that anyway. Just like, you know, reset your expectations.
I could see that. I could see
That's
that.
funny.
I would stream it. I wouldn't go pay money in theaters to see it. And by streaming, I mean if it comes free to any of the streaming servers I'm already subscribed to.
Yep.
What's really funny is that he actually has another movie that's coming out around the same time that looks 1,000 times better than this movie. And it's also kind of like another, I guess, John Wick kind of style movie. And that one is one that I'll actually go see. And they come out together, kind of. So I don't know if they kind of think this one's going to do really bad and then they'll release the other one and make up for it. I don't know. It's really weird that they're releasing 2 movies with the same actor, like almost back to back. But the other one looks 1,000 times better.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one called again?
Oh my gosh.
I bet I could find. Hold on. Let me see.
Kill something.
Bill. Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
I was thinking that, but like, no, Lily knows
Kill
her movie.
Boy Kills World.
Yeah, that one. Yes. Boy
Oh yeah, that trailer looked really good. But again,
that one looks really good.
he's typecasted again though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, in that one, he looks like he's the good guy, I guess.
I think because he generally doesn't have that heartthrob look to him because he has such a unique face that maybe that's why he's not cast at in I don't know.
Well, I mean, he was in the last John Wick, and he looked good in that, and all the very nicely tailored suits.
That's true. I forgot that he was the villain in that.
I mean, he is an attractive guy. Yes, he has a very unique face, but I wouldn't say that they couldn't make him look very attractive. I mean, he is attractive.
Would you say he has a face like this? Or would you say he has a face like this? Any of those? Either of those?
He's still a handsome guy because, like Joe said, the Hemlock Grove, he was really cute in that.
Yeah.
I've never seen that, and I am surprised.
It's a good TV show.
Yeah. Well, are we crowed out? Shall we move into Star Wars, where everybody's super excited for the Acolytes, right?
I've
I know
Totally.
you all are.
timer going, a countdown for sure.
Yeah,
I do not know how Harvey Weinstein's assistant,
personal assistant.
got the, because in my head, she definitely knew what was going on. She 100% knew what was going on the entire time. And you're telling me, and rightfully so, he was, convicted and all this stuff. But you're telling me that she had no part in it at all. So it's weird to me that she gets a show, or gets to be a showrunner or a creator or whatever she is. But I guess this is also her wife here in the green as the Jedi.
Gosh. Of course, it is.
Gross.
So I'm not the Star Wars expert. Lily is our Star Wars expert. What is the Acolytes, Lily?
I don't even care that much about this show that I don't even consider it Star Wars. So
Oh wow.
sorry. It's supposed to be set, I think, like 100 years before everything happened with Anakin, the prequels, basically. And they're going back and showing, I guess, how the Sith were formed, maybe. I'm not sure how they're going to accomplish that because there's supposed to be a rule of 2. There's only 2 Siths at one point, but apparently in this show, who knows? We're probably going to get Yoda all butchered. They're going to ruin his character. I'm really just not excited for this TV show. I could care less.
Joe, are you a big Star Wars person?
I have a weird relationship with Star Wars that's like my stepbrother for like actually it's a long story, but basically I hated Star Wars growing up because a family member that I didn't like was into Star Wars, so I avoided it for like my entire life until I hit like 20 something, early 20s. I went to college and then my college boyfriend insisted I watch it. So that's when I started watching Star Wars, and I still didn't like it. I think I had prejudice until I watched the Clone Wars, which people are going to crucify me for this, that I got into Star Wars because of the Clone Wars, but I did. Like, I always thought I watched the, the Hayden Christensen Star Wars. I didn't watch the OG trilogy, which was probably also bad. And then I thought Hayden Christensen was a god-awful actor, and I was like, God, that guy is so bad. This director, like, like no emotion, talks like this. I love you. I killed them all, the women and the children. Like I was just like, how is this a popular franchise? This is awful. But then I watched the Clone Wars. It humanized his character. I got a lot of the background. I know that's, technically supposed to be Disney Star Wars, but the OG part of the Clone Wars was before, I consider that still, a little bit before it got a little bit more tainted. So I definitely feel like that was how I got into Star Wars, and I started respecting Star Wars, and then I recently watched all of them, and I now see the value and I understand. So that's my history with Star Wars. But unfortunately, I did really like I watched the Rebels. I watched with I love Ahsoka. I love all that stuff. But then now this current issue, like this now current reiterations of this, like the Ahsoka show, the Mando show, and the last few seasons, it's really gone off the deep end. It's really not that great. So I'm not at all surprised to see things like with this Leslie Headland, who never has beyond, before Star Wars done any sci-fi, done anything like this, not even in the right genre, known for like raunchy comedies, is being given this kind of a project that just doesn't seem right to me. And it just seems like right up the alley of destroying things that an entire generation has loved, and being very careless with it. So that's why I think everyone is so upset about this.
Yeah. Well, not only like Leslie Headland, because I kind of want to dunk on her because of how much she's screwing up this whole franchise, is that what you just said earlier is just like, she has no background, no knowledge of sci-fi or anything. But she has a great knowledge of RuPaul Drag Race and all these other, stuff that's not for everyone else, and she's putting it into LGBT, or she's putting it into Star Wars. So it's like it's her own knowledge and making it her own, which is, stupid retarded. I wouldn't. It's some nonsense on that, Leslie.
I miss the day and age, like it's always been in this stuff. This stuff has always been in all types of form of art, but it's never been the foreground of things. And I miss the day and age when that wasn't the main point of view of when you're writing shows, or when you're writing shows based off legacy characters and stuff. You continue the story. Like I personally, I don't care if a character is gay or straight, whatever. I don't care. As long as the story's good, should not be the main focus. These things are now becoming personality traits, and these things should not be personality traits in the first go anyway. But yes, I pulled up Leslie Headland for you, Nomi. Give me a second. In her really awful pink tuxedo or suit or whatever.
I mean, I like pink. Pink is a color, but I mean, you have to be like a certain person to rock a pink suit. See, like that, I've seen that photo. It doesn't look good on her.
I don't think that would look good on anybody, honestly. Sorry. Like the fit?
Like if it was like, I know Ryan Gosling wore like a pink suit. If this was him, he'd look good in it, but it's too boxy for her. Her pants are too boxy. And I don't like her hair. Her hair is too boxy either.
It's not tailored. They literally just slapped it on her and called it a day.
But doesn't this look like she wasn't trying to look good? It was more like a statement, like, I know I look unattractive and I'm just going to rock it and make it worse by giving myself this awful hairdo and these boxy glasses that don't accentuate anything good on my face.
She's a literal square. That's what she is. She's a nerd, and not in the good kind. Not for us.
We could
poser.
give her a makeover and it would be better. Like, she just looks like the beginning of a bad romantic comedy before they fixed her.
She
shouldn't
like the
be
box
working.
that they actually put the Barbie dolls in, not necessarily the Barbie doll itself.
She should be a barista at Starbucks right now, okay? That's what she should be doing. She should not have the ability to create shows. I am still stuck on the fact that she was knowledgeable of what was going on with Weinstein and potentially Epstein and all these innocent people, and now she is in the spotlight because she and given an IP like Star Wars to continue. It's crazy to me. There are a ton of artists out there that could take this role, and they gave it to her. So what does she have? What blackmail does she have on people? Because that's the only way I could see her getting the show.
Well, she has the whole list of Harvey Weinstein of who she brought to him to do the dirties to get them fame, get them where they're at right now. So she has that list, is what I'm reckon.
And Danny says they're allowing it to happen on her own set of The Acolytes. This is so messy. I thought the show was never going to see the light of day. The light of day for any of this stuff. But that kind of brings into the other thing, because I saw recently with Adam Driver saying that wokeness pretty much killed Star Wars. Well, killed Han Solo. Let me see if I can pull up. There we go. Let me pull this
I didn't kill Han Solo. Oh, and I'd like people to stop coming up to me on the street saying, you killed Han Solo. I didn't kill Han Solo. Wokeness killed Han Solo.
That's crazy. I love it. But I mean, it's true. It's really true on it. What do you think, guys? Did wokeness kill Han Solo?
Yes.
I think it was a a vibe in those movies to try to kill off the patriarchy, the old order. What yes, it's a little bit of an unexpected twist, and movies sometimes do that. But I really felt like those movies were all about the girl power, vibe. It definitely felt like it had an agenda. So I think that's where he's going for. It's just, killing Han Solo was a metaphor for what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And also just tarnish the legacy of those characters such as Han Solo, Leia, and Luke Skywalker, and then try to continue the story with a character like Rey. Initially, when I first saw the first one, I forgot what it's called. I thought, what's the male character's name? Finn? I think it's Finn. Am I correct?
John Boyega? Yeah.
Yeah. Finn. I thought he was supposed to be the lead of the series and continue with Rey, but this whole switch and especially with the last movie making her a Palpatine or a Skywalker. I'm sorry. Force Awakens. Thank you, Tim.
Both. Actually, the answer is both.
The answer is both.
Skywalker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, don't call her a Skywalker. Well, no, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't call her a Skywalker.
No. She doesn't deserve it at all.
But my question for the panel is, what would they have to do to bring back Star Wars?
Purify it with fire.
Start from scratch.
Yeah.
Basically, make the Rey trilogy not canon and just pretend it didn't happen.
But they're continuing with her, right? With another movie with her, with an activist director who's never directed she's directed documentaries, and don't get me wrong, her documentaries bring light to a lot of serious problems, especially women issues in other countries. But that doesn't mean you're qualified to direct a Star Wars movie. That to me is similar to what Marvel has been doing, where they don't hire directors to direct. They hire them almost as if they're an actor themselves. They're just a piece to it where the studio has complete control over it. Danny says fire everyone and sell it to another studio.
So she has the right mindset. I said fire too. So yes, Danny's not wrong.
It should have been a journey of Rey and Finn becoming Jedi. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I thought they were going for. And
well, because John Boyega, I mean, that was a really cool story that we've never heard of before, like a stormtrooper becoming a Jedi. That was such a cool story. And then they just messed it up because of course they did. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they even kind of messed with Poe's Isaac's character arc. It was just like he was, a really cool character, and you didn't really know where it was going, and then all of a sudden it's just like, just took a massive dump on that. You know, and again made it like men bad, girls good. You know, really.
Yeah, because like his character did like a complete 180 from the beginning, where you're like, oh yeah, he's so cool, and this and that, and then all of a sudden he's over here selling their version of drugs and smuggling it and whatever, doing all this stuff and standing up to oh my god, the horrible actress. Well, not the horrible actress, the horrible character. What was her name?
The one that's in
the one with
oh
the
my gosh.
purple hair that
Oh,
everyone...
she's in Jurassic Park.
Hold on.
Yeah, she's in Jurassic Park. I can't. Helen? No.
Wonderful actress. Horrible
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, but that I know you're talking about the girl, the lady with the purple hair.
Yes.
Terrible, terrible leader, terrible, you know, direction. It was just awful, and she was a see you next Tuesday in that movie. Gosh, I wanted to punch her.
Sorry, guys. It's because I'm really dumb.
No, you're not.
You're not.
I didn't know that she was in your chat, and I'm over here like, oh, Tabitha. She can't even see it.
Do you think in our lifetime, because we're all probably around the same age, I believe, that Star Wars will make a comeback?
Oh my gosh. I hope so, but the way things are looking, I'm not really too sure, because now there's rumors circulating that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is actually going to be a bait and switch too, and that it's actually going to be about Bo-Katan.
Again? That's what's the whole last season.
Yeah. And see, this is the bad thing. This is the bad thing, is that they don't learn. They saw how people reacted to season 3, where they tried to put her at the forefront and kind of put Din Djarin in the background. People hated it, and they try to tell us, no, we're not specifying what Mandalorian. And it's like, no, dude, you started with this Mandalorian. We know this is who you're talking about. So they tried to gaslight us about that. And yeah, no, now it's coming out that they plan on making it into Bo-Katan, so that when she takes over the role, supposedly Din Djarin is supposed to die. And she's supposed to take over the role so that it goes into the movie with Ahsoka and all that stuff. So,
Joe, I have a question for you. What do you feel about all this? I guess I would call it Mary Sue, but very women can do anything and be the best at everything kind of mentality that's been going through the last couple of years with Hollywood, with all their IPs, that everything has transferred over to, it has to be a woman in the center, a woman lead. She has to be better than the men, especially men legacy characters. What do you think about that?
So I have mixed feelings about it. I think we've always had strong women characters throughout, you know, cinema, you know.
Yeah.
Aliens,
our whole
Ripley.
opening.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's a little bit heavy-handed and annoying to be like, women, you know, haven't been, you know, featured, so we gotta like do all this to promote women and da-da-da-da. It's like, no, we've always had strong female characters. I also have a problem with the Mary Sue aspect of it. I think it's much more refreshing to see growth in characters versus just, I'm automatically amazing, just like Hawkeye, the series where, you know, it wasn't about Hawkeye, it was about this new girl, and she was just automatically just amazing. It's like, no, I want to see growth. I want to see the ugly side. I feel like a good version of a female lead superhero story was Jessica Jones. I think that was pretty good. I didn't think that was a Mary Sue issue. She had a definite dark side. She had a growth as a character, coming into terms with herself becoming a superhero versus just someone who uses her strengths to do shady things. Like, I think that's a cool version of a female lead versus something that is just shiny and new and everything is perfect because I'm a woman. Yay. You know, like, that's boring.
Yeah, prime example is also She-Hulk too.
Mm-hmm.
She-Hulk, completely different than what she was in the comics, outshines the Hulk in all aspects right away too. You don't see a journey for her within a day or two. She's stronger than him, faster than him, smarter than him, right? And it's a spit in the face to all these male legacy characters. I am with you. I love strong female characters if they are written right, and I do want to see that journey, right? There's aspects of being a woman that make us stronger than men, and same thing with men. Like, we play off of each other so well, and when it's just like, I'm the best at everything, I should be, put my boot to your neck kind of deal for the male characters. I don't find it entertaining. I feel like, oh, it's the same story, right? She's going to win at the end. She's going to be the girl boss and stuff. One reminds me, the last Mission Impossible, there's a scene, an alleyway scene, which I'm about to spoil it for everyone, where Tom Cruise's character is fighting against, and I can't remember her name, but she plays Mantis in the Guardian of the Galaxy series.
Palm Clemente.
Thank you. And I thought, oh, great, now she's going to kick his ass, right? And then, no, she doesn't. They actually play off the fact that she is smaller framed and use the environment off. It was a pretty cool choreography, like fight, but it was, in a sense, like realistic, because this little itty bitty girl is not going to kick a man's ass. But yeah, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. This is a hot topic for me.
No,
when Mary Sue's
that is actually something that
Legit.
drives me crazy, because I have a history with combat training, boxing, kickboxing, guns, obviously. The reason I'm so into guns, amongst other things, is because it's a great equalizer. Women, no matter how much you work out, you're not going to be stronger than a man. So like, same thing with like putting men in women's sports. I'm thinking of like martial arts. What is the cage fighting? I'm sorry, I'm like blanking out.
MMA
or UFC is what I'm going for.
UFC, yeah.
There was one situation, I forgot who it was, but it was a guy who identified as a woman.
Fallon Fox.
Yes, just completely destroyed that girl. Like, there's nothing you can do against testosterone biology. Like, you're just not going to be able to compete with a guy, even if you're Gina Carano or Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like when I see a Angelina Jolie character who's 85 pounds because she's so skinny, take on somebody that looks like Jason Statham, I'm like, okay, like, come on. But I do find it really appealing when you describe that scene, because it's like realistic. You have to be able to use your environment, use tools, whatever, to be able to be, compete against that. So that's actually, I love that realism.
I do too, and I'm with you too. I believe gun rights are women rights. I think it brings evenness, right? I especially in the world we live in, I 100% push for take classes, learn how to defend yourself. You don't know what kind of situation. Similar to right now, what's going on in New York with all these random women getting punched in the face. And I'm like, I know New York's gun laws are so extreme. They can't even, I believe, carry pepper spray around. I'm like, you can't even defend yourself, and you're by yourself. And one lady, she blacked out. I'm just like, what is going on? If you want women to be protected, then why don't you give them the ability to protect themselves?
Yeah, when I was living in New York, this was before it like got bad with the crime that they have right now. When I would get off of work, I would always take a taxi or an Uber to where I was living, because why would you want to have a car and live if you're living in New York City? There were times where I would take the car and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable about it, but I got to my place safe. There was one time a person did pick me up, and he was a nice older gentleman. He's like, hey, like, I'm going to give you my number. I'm going to wait for you every night because I saw you last night and you went into, it's called a gypsy cab. So they're not licensed. They have nothing. You went in willingly, and they have a history of abducting women. So here's my number. Call me if you need anything. And then it's just crime in general. So I couldn't defend myself because I'm just trying to get a way home. But if that person were to attack me, I have nothing to even defend myself. I'm just in a car vulnerable. So yeah, it's just getting bad. And as far as the women thing, I do believe that women do need to like get into kickboxing or get into UFC fighting, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so we can defend ourselves. But there's no way in hell that we can, kick a man in the chest and he goes flying back against the wall. That's not possible.
I mean, I try to wrestle my husband every night, but I always lose. So and he's much bigger than me, and I lift weights. So there's prime, and I'm a pretty big girl. I'm 5'8", curvy, I guess. So like I got some meat on me, and I can't even take him down. So I can't imagine somebody who's 85 pounds being able to go up against a man that's like 200 pounds in weight and muscle. I mean, they could literally just put their hand on your head and just hold you from afar. So Dr. Rachel, what do you think?
I'm right there with you. Like a little story I have is when I was a kid, I was at summer camp, and this boy was hitting me and couldn't figure out why. He just thought he was totally entitled to it because, in his words, I'm a girl. And he punched me in the face. Camp counselors did nothing about it. Punched me in the stomach. Camp counselors didn't do anything about it. So we found out he went to a karate school, taekwondo school that my parents also went to. They enrolled me in it. And guess who, sparring first time I have to go against? This kid.
Snot nose.
Yep. Guess whose ass I kicked in front of his parents and mine?
Get it.
It was a lot of using his body weight against him. There was a lot of ducking, moving, and I ended up being able to flip him over my shoulder. Obviously not like picking him up, but just using his own momentum against him. And it's one of those things, like, you need to be able to defend yourself however you can. Take, like everyone was saying here, take lessons, get any kind of weapon that you can, like the whole thing of like hold your keys between your hands. You can do that. Pocket knife, pepper spray, horn, anything you can. I know I was advised a lot when I went off to school on my own, because in grad school you have a lot of late night classes. Anyone who's taken grad school knows, like 4 o'clock onward is when you have classes. I wasn't walking home until like 11:30 at night by myself. So it was a lot of like, be careful, be wary. If you need to, be on a call with someone while you're walking home alone. All these kind of safety protections you need to have in place, just like Joe was saying, because men are just biologically built to be bigger, stronger, and just more capable of fighting than women are. It's simple biology. You can fight it as much as you want. You can throw in isms and phobes at me all you want to. I don't care. Science is science. You know, biologically speaking, men are bigger and stronger than the average women. So defend yourself however you can. Find ways to do it. And there are ways to do it. So like everyone was saying, the realistic depictions of women like using agility and using their environment to get around, to get away, having men like use men's weight against them or their own momentum against them. Perfect. I love seeing that.
Well,
by the time my nephew was already 14 years old, he was already stronger than me. He could already lift way more weight than I could. We would go to the gym together. We would do stuff, and I couldn't keep up with him. And I was already lifting weights longer than he was, and he could already lift me up. He could lift my sister up, and it's just you can't compete. I'm sorry. Men are built that way for a reason, and we're built the way that we are for a reason too. Like Nadia said earlier, we're supposed to complement each other. That's just how it is.
One of my favorite characters is from the Mission Impossible, Rebecca Ferguson's character. I think she's a great example of a woman playing off her strengths. In the movies, you can say, I mean, there's a couple of really bad ones, a couple of really good ones in that series, but she's never overpowering any male character in that entire series throughout the entire time she's in there. She's playing to her strengths. She's this spy. She's able to, do things. So I like characters like that versus what we've seen in the last 5 years, I guess, 10 years. I don't know how far it goes back, but also one thing I want to note too, ladies, if you are afraid of carrying a pew pew with you, women's clothing are completely different now. You can definitely conceal better.
I have that for sure.
They make it easier.
Yes. It's a yoga pant. I can't remember the brand name, but my cousin got them for me. And both her and I rock it. If you see me in a dress and you see me wearing those black leggings underneath, watch out. Just watch out. Just watch out. That's all I say.
So speaking of women and culture and stuff, we're going to talk about Gamergate and Sweet Baby Inc.
Nice transition.
I know, right? I do my best. So I think everybody kind of has a general idea of what's going on. I'm going to rely on our gamers on the chat, on the panel, Joe, wink, wink, on this. But
Joe, this is all you.
We don't have to talk about the other things that I saw in the private chats. We'll leave that out. But to give a lowdown of what Sweet Baby Inc. is, I guess Sweet Baby Inc. is a consultation company that has been going around certain games and providing, is it DEI or DIE? I think
DEI.
it's
DEI.
DEI in these games, correct?
Mhm.
That are turning these games quote unquote woke. And gamers are not particularly happy about this, correct? If I'm following this right. I watched a bunch of videos today, but it all still doesn't make sense because there's like Gamergate 2.0, Sweet Baby Inc., and then other stuff, and it all maps out. I feel like Charlie from that one meme where he's got a bunch of stuff on the wall and there's like string connecting everything. So what do we think about this, guys? What are our thoughts on this? This has been pretty much the news for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's basically inserting it's with everything that we're seeing now. I think that's also why this entire community has kind of grown with independent journalism too, because we're tired of things like this getting inserted into our media, whether it's pop culture, movies, and in this case, video games. But the last, I don't know, decade or so, we have found that there's a trend where we're no longer concerned about just doing the best product or telling the best stories. There's also hidden agendas of inserting a certain amount of, special things like enough women, enough minorities, enough people who have disabilities. And it's kind of a little bit jarring when it doesn't fit the narrative, the story that was intended. It just seems extraneous. So I think that's where the anger comes from, because it's like, we don't need this in our storytelling. This is to escape reality, like games, pop culture, media, books, movies. That's escapism. We have enough things in our real life that we don't need to constantly be, reminded of, problems that are in society. So people have really found it quite annoying. Let's just try the Suicide Squad game. Another one that was really called out for its wokeism was Spider-Man 2. I've actually played Spider-Man 2. It's a fantastic game when it comes to the mechanics. Like, the fighting is great. The movement is great when you're actually just moving through the city as Spider-Man. So, it's really jarring when you're like going through this and then you have just stupid missions about a deaf girl. Like, why? This doesn't really fit this kind of story, and it's just kind of takes you out of the escapism. It's not fun. So then they found out that there's a consulting company, Sweet Baby Inc., that's hired by gaming companies to insert this unnecessarily. So it's actually not just, it's even worse than we thought. It's not like we're just hiring a bunch of people, that have these agendas and these ideas to insert these values in, bringing themselves in. And I do think this is actually stemming from an era of all these children who grew up thinking they were snowflakes, or not, going back to that movie, Fight Club. Edward Norton's character says you're not a snowflake, you're not special, and this entire generation grew up thinking they are special. Too many participation awards, too many.
That's what I was just thinking. Participation awards on it. Yes.
Yeah. So now they feel like, I'm so special, I'm going to insert what I believe into whatever I'm working. And it's very strange to me, because it's like, I don't feel that way. Like, I have a day job, I am a professional. I'm not allowed to wear, crazy clothes or crazy makeup or crazy piercings. It's like, I don't want you to look at me and be like, I see you. I want you to look at my job, my professionalism, my, like, what I'm presenting in my work, versus I want you to see me. I'm an individual, and that's distracting. The same way that I would find that distracting during my real job, I would find it distracting when you're writing a story that has nothing to do with you.
I agree. 100. I'm 100% with you on this.
Mhm.
I wonder, would it be different if the Sweet Baby Inc. was like one of the forefronts of what, like, I feel it was hidden, right?
Mhm.
To me, it comes across very shady, that it wasn't well known, and then the story broke. Do you think if they actually had owned up to it from the beginning, like, hey, we're doing Spider-Man 2, we've got Sweet Baby Inc. coming in to make sure we have representation, do you think the explosion that's happened in the last 2 weeks would have been as big if they had been more forefront with this?
No, I think it still would have been bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Spider-Man 2 is doomed to always have criticism because of the whole Miles Morales thing. But then the insertion of all these extraneous, extra characters and his girlfriend who happens to be disabled. Like, and I don't have a problem with that. It's just, it doesn't really fit, and it just feels forced.
That's that's my problem with a lot of this stuff, where it can be something cool, like a character in a wheelchair. Cool. Like, let's see, the challenges they get through and stuff. But to have it as the first thing that they utilize, like instead of saying, hey, we have this character who's going through this turmoil, they have this and this going on. They're like, you know what? We need to make sure they're in a wheelchair. We need to make sure they're this race. We need to make sure that they're, this sexuality. They have to have these pronouns, and then we'll build out the history in the character. And I really think that's what is the downfall for a lot of this media, both in games, movies, books, TV, whatever you can, and I agree with you. This stuff is supposed to be our escapism. Politics and stuff has always been in this stuff. It's for generations. You can go back to the 70s, the 80s and 90s, whatever, watch something, you'll find something political, but it's never been the forefront as hard as it is now. And I agree with you, connecting it to the fact that that generation growing up now was told, like, hey, you're special, you need to dye your hair this color, you need to wear dog ears, you're special, you're unique, people are gonna accept you. Where I'm the reverse. I think you should bring back shame. I'm just saying.
No, absolutely, I agree with that. I just think, because you grow up thinking, or these people grow up thinking that they're perfect, and then life isn't perfect, I think that's also where they get all this angst and, anger that's we see online of, women who hate men and, women who hate everything, and they're just angry feminists. It's like, well, maybe if you grew up with like expectations and the concept of hard work is required to get ahead in life, maybe you wouldn't be so disappointed in life, because life is hard. I think that's all. It stems back to how you raise your kids, how these people, were set up for life. And I think whatever generation that is, I don't really know, because I don't know what, I'm kind of lost now when it comes to, like,
I think it's millennials and beyond. I think the one before us, Gen X, they're all right, but I think it's millennials.
So my generation, or the little bit older than me, whatever it is, they dropped the ball. They effed up.
100%, especially millennials. It's all about your feelings. Listen, I'm not saying anybody to not express their feelings or utilize that. Feelings help move powerful arts and stuff. 100% backing it, but your fun shouldn't dictate everyone else's fun. Like, everyone shouldn't be in a line with you. If we all were the same, the world would be very boring. Very boring. We wouldn't have conversations and be able to debate things.
Yeah. By the way, this also has an underlying, like, disturbing level beyond just this all, how kids grew up and this concept of being special. It also has a layer that we don't talk about too often about the government and ESG scores and the agenda there. So this might just be also, partially what we just talked about now, feeling that we have to be special, but also, there is a real thing called ESG scores that all companies and banks and apparently video games are scored on now, and they qualify for things that, that translate to money, loans, how you operate in business. So it is now also forced upon companies, in a sense. If you want to do business in America with these banks, you have to have a certain ESG score.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I know. I watch a lot of stuff that's based off the ESG scores. I watch a lot of Tim Pool. A lot of that. That's where I get my news. Not Fox or anything else. But I agree with you. This I think it's also a damper on these companies, because these companies can't hire creative individuals. They have to hire based off of those scores and DEI and all that stuff. And they won't actually hire people that might actually be creative and bring you like a game of the year. I look at Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate's one of my favorite games. Is it a little woke? Yes. Does it have all that stuff? Yes. But it's true to D&D as close as it can be. And you can tell there was a lot of love put into it. And the love for D&D was the first thing on the list versus everything else for their characters and the story and the world that they built. And I don't see that a lot with other games that have come out. Maybe some independent games here and there, but not the mainstream, like Spider-Man. I think God of War had some issues too. Alan Wake as well. I mean, you can see them all on this screen. I think that's Overwatch, maybe, in the upper right corner.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like Overwatch, yeah.
Yeah. But all these games that used to be hits that people enjoyed, a couple years back, and now nobody wants to buy them. Nobody wants to play them because they no longer focus on the characters in the story. They're more focused on things that they have to insert to hit those scores.
What's the game with the oh my gosh, it's the redhead who strong female lead. They had a second one come out last year. I forgot which the name of it, but she had an arc where she could be a lesbian, and that felt really just, you had the option at least to not make her lesbian. You know, it gave you that, you know, choice, but it also felt very forced because it's just like, where did this come from? Like, just, well, we just have to add this in because we need to hit those things. Horizon, yes, thank you. Horizon Zero. Yeah, there was just, towards the end of it, it was just like, where did that come from? It just, you know, again, I don't know how much of it is government push, or maybe not government, but, you know, who is on behind it?
The deep state.
The deep state. We're going to put a hat on. Yeah.
Conspiracy theory. Yeah. We can talk about the deep state for a couple hours.
Yeah, we could.
Where do you think this takes the future of gaming?
I'm not hopeful. It depends on if, you know, right now all the articles online from the major magazines, online, you know, gaming magazines are kind of crapping on the chat rooms, you know, bashing Sweet Babying, bashing Spider-Man. So right now media is saying that, you know, we're a bunch of bigots for feeling this way. So
Kotaku, right? That's one of the main. And then what's her face? Cam girl Kotaku, as I call it, blocked me.
Mm-hmm.
Why you blocked me, girl? I didn't say anything to you. Yes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. And I think that at this point, they're trying to shame people into not having this perspective, but I think it's too late. I mean, money talks. Go woke, go broke is something that we've seen actually happen. People hold a grudge. You know, I don't think that games that are, you know, fitting this narrative are going to do well. And eventually, once companies lose money over and over and over again, they may get the picture and change, but I don't see it happening for another 5 to 10 years. Like, maybe they'll lose money for another 5 to 10 years. I think at that point, once the economy crashes from all this, you know, or at least the media companies crash from this continuation of pushing something, and people continue to not buy, the rise of independent media, the rise of things like Rippaverse, I think that's when you're going to start seeing a shift of, you know what, money talks, we really can't continue to do this. So it's going to be a little bit a little long for it to catch up, I think, but I am hopeful that down the road it will revert back to actual storytelling, actual media that does its purpose of entertaining, and that's it.
I think it's already happening with Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hollywood is already on that trajectory of crashing, especially the talks of like potentially maybe another strike happening. You know, what movies are making money in the box office. You know, people are really paying with their wallets, and I encourage anyone to stop hate watching things and go support movies in the theaters that we like. You know, such as Sound of Freedom, Oppenheimer. I don't know what else has come out in the last couple. Dune
Cabrini.
1 and 2.
Cabrini is actually really good.
Yeah, like go support these movies in theaters so that it shows to the box office of what people want to see versus going to things and hate watching them. But I get it. YouTubers got to make their money. I understand.
I heard Dune, so I came back. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
The magic words.
Hold on, I have it for you. There you go.
No,
Oh,
are you a fan of him? Are you a fan of him?
Nadia. I'm just kidding.
Joe,
I'm not gonna do this again.
Lily is like, she's probably the president of anything Austin Butler and
Ryan
Pedro
Gosling.
Pascal.
Pedro
And
Pascal.
Ryan Gosling.
I'm with
So-
you on Ryan Gosling, but Austin.
I'm sorry.
It's because she can change him. She can change him. She'll
She
be
can
the one.
change him.
Ooh,
You know?
change who?
That because of his bad boy character and Dune.
She doesn't want to change it for nothing. She likes it like that.
She could change him. She could
No.
change him.
She
I
wants
don't
him to
wanna
change
fix
her into more of
Yes.
a bad girl.
He's perfect. I want to
Next-
make him worse, Nadia.
Wait.
Worse.
I also have
There's
this for you.
potential. Oh no. Oh,
He'll change
okay.
her. If anything, she'll like start eating livers and start wearing more black. So yes.
I'm pretty basic. I like Henry Cavill. That's why. That's why.
And if anything, liver's good for you anyway. So
There's
Liver
nothing
is
wrong
truly-
with Henry Cavill. He's
He's the
great.
goat.
speaking of Henry Cavill,
Oh, sure. Why not? Let's bring that up. I'm totally cool. Give me 1 second. I'll pull that up. Joe, do you have celebrity? Not that this is a gossip channel, but do you have celebrity crushes?
I really don't have anybody that I'm truly infatuated with. I used to as a kid. I have the worst celebrity crushes.
Oh, so
like-
we're all children, guys. No, I'm kidding.
he just got bigger.
Joe is the adult in the room.
No, but I like appreciate like who's actually handsome. I don't find too many people handsome in Hollywood. I find Ryan pretty good looking. Henry Cavill's very good looking, but I don't know. I'm not gonna be like, ooh, I'm gonna go watch a movie because of that person being in it. So that was definitely something that I was like hardcore. As a teenager, I was a huge Tobey Maguire fan, which now I'm just like,
Yeah.
why? He's not attractive. Not
I was a
attractive.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I get it. I was like, what? What did I do?
I had some weird crushes as a kid too.
And the one that didn't make sense was Paul Walker. I had the
No, Paul. Yeah.
biggest crush on
Yeah,
him.
Paul
I am a
Walker.
diehard Fast and the Furious fan because of that. So
I've never seen
Rest
any
in
of them.
peace. Okay.
Any, I should. I know.
Yeah.
as you
Like,
should.
I'm going to be working my way through all the James Bond movies because I've never seen those, and then eventually I'll get to, we're family. I get it. I get the memes. I understand. Actually, I was at Universal last week and we did the VIP experience, so we got to do the studio tour. And one of the studio tours is they take you in this like really nice trolley into like a 3D, and you have to put 3D glasses for Fast and Furious. So you're like, the trolley's moving while you're racing with the guys, and there's, I don't know, Vito or whatever his name is, like shows up, and it's weird. It's
Vito?
weird. Or whatever, not Vito, sorry.
Dominic?
Don, whatever. So I'm also watching The Sopranos.
Like,
I'm getting myself mixed up in this.
I think you mix like Vin Diesel with.
Yes, I think that's what I did.
I'm like, who's Vito?
I should know Vin Diesel. He's a big Dungeons and Dragons player and character support. So the reason why I bring up this article, because Nomi, thank you for the segue on Henry Cavill. I think Henry Cavill has had a really rough career the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Especially that awful fucking haircut in Argyle.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And
it's a terrible movie all around. Let's be.
It was god awful.
And a lot of people have tried to discredit him, right? Discredit him on The Witcher, on other things of saying, he's toxic and stuff. And this article that I read pretty much debunks all of that. Not that I believed it in the first place, because I can tell that he's a nerd. I want to play Warhammer just so maybe one day I could play Warhammer with him. But I guess he was a complete gentleman on this new movie, which is the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and that he was a complete gentleman the entire time and passionate about it. Everyone has nice things to say about him, which tells me that everybody on The Witcher was, one, full of shit, and B, they really missed out, because I am not going to watch The Witcher with wishlist Hemsworth on as The Witcher. So sorry.
Okay, wait. As far as like the whole they're dunking on him on The Witcher, I don't know what they were seeing, because when he was in that bathtub taking a bath as Geralt, like I don't know where people didn't see anything on that, because that one got me. That one got me weak.
Yeah, I think in terms of that, like Nadia, I definitely saw like lots of articles. It was more like the crew, like the director and stuff of The Witcher, were saying he was like terrible and weird and everything. But I do remember an article, I think it was the two actresses, the ones who play Yennefer and Ciri, they were the ones saying like he was actually really nice.
Yes.
He knew the material. So it was a lot of the cast was like, yeah, no, this guy's great. But it's all the directors who and producers and stuff who are just like so agenda driven, and Cavill isn't necessarily. He's more like, well, here's the source material. I want to adopt it faithfully. They're just like, no, we can't do that. So you're a terrible person. But like, I'm not surprised by this article where everyone who's worked with him is just like, yeah, no, he's a really good guy, really smart, funny, brings a lot to the table.
Well, not only that, he also dated Gina Carano, and we all know and love her. And
I
how she
didn't
carries
know
on.
that.
You didn't know she dated
Oh,
Gina
I
Carano?
did not.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just,
he did it
What
for a
the?
while. I
Okay,
think.
yeah.
I don't know
And the dog-
how I missed that at all. Like,
And the dog that his Akira dog that he has, she was still with him when they went to go get the dog together.
I'm just, I'm even more like, I would never leave my husband. But
But
Oh.
But if I did, it would be for Henry Cavill.
There is a
but if there was an offer from Henry,
he knows. He knows. He know. I have a Henry. Hold on. I'll be right back. Continue the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're talking about our favorite sweetheart, Gina Carano, and then we have the
Mhm.
male counterpart to her, Henry Cavill, who's just like as equal and sweet as she is. So yeah, it just makes sense. So I would understand everybody had positive things to say about him. Great to work with. What do you got there, Nadia? Oh, that wink.
Hold on.
Of course.
This is what my sister got me.
Yeah.
Is that a blanket?
Yes.
Do you snuggle with Henry every night?
Not every night, but most
Almost every
streams.
night.
Most streams, I will have it on my lap because I get cold.
So Henry keeps you warm, huh?
Yeah. I won't sleep in bed with it because I feel like it would be weird for my husband to, roll over and then this is looking at him.
Actually, that'd be pretty funny.
I'm like, I get it. That's the line. It would have been a little bit more scandalous, but my sister chose the less scandalous one because he's not really shirtless in any of this except for like down here. Got one, but his hands covering. But the other one was pretty risque, as I say.
I think
As
one
a
of my
married woman.
favorite Henry scenes is actually the fight scene in that Mission Impossible movie, the bathroom fight scene. I don't know what it is, but he just does this little thing, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Hold on, I got it for you. Hold on, continue. Give me
Okay,
a
and
second.
then when he came out as Superman, well, when he was first revealed, I was like, all right, cool. And then thinking long and hard about it, is like, I know I've seen him before. Like, where have I seen Henry Cavill? If you guys never seen this movie, it's a known movie, but it's not a known movie. The Count of Monte Cristo. He's Albert. He's the 15-year-old kid. I was like, oh my gosh, that's it.
That's it,
Yeah.
So here's a true story, and I am not lying about this. When I was a youngster, I was obsessed with The Count of Monte Cristo, the book. It was one of my favorite books, and I could not wait for that movie. And I went and watched it, and I had such a crush on that character because it was like I was young. I was like, that was my age or whatever. So I was like, oh my god, that boy is so cute, and he is adorable in that movie.
He's so adorable. His cute little curly hair on his top. Like,
yes, I actually sat there and waited for the freaking credits so I could see his name, and then I didn't see him for years. And then I was like, But yes, that is a true story. I actually had a crush on him from that movie when I was a kid, and then I forgot about him for years.
I had two crushes on him because I did have a crush. I mean, he's still good looking to this day. Oh my gosh, the guy who plays, oh my gosh, Henry Cavill's in it. Jim Caviezel. I had a huge crush on him in that movie. Yeah, Jesus. That's like he's Jesus, and then like
Monte Cristo.
Yeah, he's Monte Cristo. So I had a crush on Monte Cristo, and I had a crush on Albert. So yes. It was a good cast movie.
Yeah,
it was good acting,
movie.
And then Guy Pearce as well as like his best friend that betrayed him. Yes,
it was a great movie.
And then Henry Cavill is like little cute baby because he was my age too, so it was appropriate to have a crush on him.
The only time I've ever seen Jim in a thing was Passion of the Christ when it came out, and then I hadn't seen him until Sound of Freedom. I'm like, he's a very talented actor. He should definitely get more work, but
he's been blacklisted.
Yeah, Hollywood doesn't like Christians. I know. It's pretty on par.
Pretty open about his political views too, so
that
doesn't help matters.
There was one movie that I saw, and I think it was him. I can't remember the actress name. But he was playing like some like secret agent, and it was kind of like the first 10 minutes. It got into like a risky scene. I was like, oh, I didn't know he did this kind of movie beforehand. But like after he did Passion of the Christ, that's when he like became a Christian and stopped doing those movies, and any other opportunity that he would get, Hollywood didn't pay attention to him because he wouldn't want to do those movies anymore.
Yeah. which is sad because I think, again, I think he's a very talented actor. He should definitely get more things under his belt. But it's sad that, but hey, Sound of Freedom was great. So maybe he'll do more stuff with Angel Studios, maybe, bringing his name back into the spotlight.
Or him and Henry Cavill should just give him a call and be like, hey, do you want to make a movie together? That'd be amazing, honestly.
So let's, are we done with Sweet Baby Inc. so we don't nuke the channel?
Yeah, we're good.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Did you get blocked yet, Lily? By what's her face? From Kotaku? No? Not yet?
No, I'm spying on her.
Spying on her too. It's like, girl, don't block me.
I'm
Let's
trying
go
not to get on her radar so I can just see what nonsense she's saying on her timeline. Oh my gosh, she's crazy. But yeah, not yet.
So has anybody on here seen the Quiet on Set documentary?
I saw it.
No.
It's in my queue right now. I'll probably have to watch. See, here's the thing. I have these certain roommates that I know if they watch it, they would not want to watch it with me, and they would get very upset. So it's going to be hard because the main TV is in my living room. But all the little clips and tidbits here and there has just made me upset. Where even just like little scenes, I start crying, I start bawling. But I want to see it, so I'm ready to talk about it. And without any spoilers, Lily, can you give me what's going on?
Lily, before you get into it, I just want to say welcome everybody to 2024 when now you know Dan Snyder is an asshole, when I've known for years because I used to listen to true crime and stuff, and it's been very well known and very well documented that he has been a creep. But Lily, give the breakdown of what this is about.
I mean, there really aren't any spoilers because this has been an investigation going on for a couple of years now, and we all kind. I think the only shocking thing that came out of all of this was exactly what happened to Drake Bell.
Yes,
I wasn't aware of that, so when it got to that part of the documentary, I was in shock. Oh my gosh! And then just at the end of this whole documentary, it just kind of hit me because these were a lot of TV shows that I was watching, and it made me feel terrible that while I was having fun, laughing, and enjoying myself watching this, I had no idea what all of these kids were going through behind the scenes, and a lot of the crew too. It just I don't know. I don't think I can go back and watch any of this stuff. I mean, I aged out of it, obviously, but it's really sad. Oh my gosh. And then it kind of, the only thing that I wish they had gone into in the documentary that they didn't is what happened with Drake Bell and all of the, what he was actually charged for not so long ago. They actually didn't touch on that. So I guess I had read the other day that they're supposed to release another episode, more footage. So I'm not really too sure what's going to be in that one. But yeah, it was crazy. Like when they were talking about all this stuff with Drake Bell, it was so crazy.
I watched the court proceedings of the Drake Bell incident, and you can tell definitely he's very remorseful. I don't want to say he was tricked because it was still going on, but it was obvious that the girl had lied about her age, and once he found out, he freaked out, and I think that leads to the fact that he was abused as a child, and it's not something he would want to do to another child. Maybe, who knows, right? Hollywood, they could one face out, but I do feel bad for him. But the most disturbing thing about this whole documentary to me was how offhand the parents were during this entire time, because they were worried that their kid was going to be cut. And the fact that they put so much pressure on these kids, because as the documentary said, some of these kids were the prime income for most of these families, and to put that pressure on your 7-year-old, even your 15-year-old, and not speak up when you see things happening to your own child because you don't want them to get in trouble, or, you don't want them to be removed from show. Shame on them. 100% shame on them for putting their kids through this.
Yeah, but I mean, it's already shady to begin with, though. Like, I'm not a mom yet, but wouldn't you want to be on set with your kids? Like, why are you leaving your kids alone with all of these weird people that you don't really even know? It's just weird to me how they were like, no, no parents, absolutely no one on set, and the parents were just like, okay, we'll see you guys later. Like, I don't get it. I really don't.
Drake's dad was the only one I feel that caught on,
Yes.
because he,
Yeah.
if anybody knows this, so in the documentary, Drake Bell's father was very hands-on with his career, very much on set, had Drake in his sight the entire time. And there was an individual, I think his name is Brian Peck, who is unfortunately the man who eventually assaulted Drake as a child, but kept planting seeds in Drake's mother's head at the time, and they were split at the time, that Drake's father shouldn't be the manager, that he should be, that it'd be good for Drake's career. So basically manipulating the situation so that Drake could be left alone with him. And his father was picking up on the cues of like, why is this guy touching my son? Why is this guy being creepy around my son? And he just manipulated the mother enough that the father was removed as the primary custody and agent for Drake. And then unfortunately this happened to him by Brian Peck. So I could never imagine learning what he learned that happened to his son, at the fact that he was so hands-on in the beginning and making sure, he's like, in the documentary, he's like, I like on set, on the side, always had his sight on him, knowing what was going on, and was able to pick up on this and complain to people, and people just brushed it off too. And the guy got convicted and then got be able to work on the Disney Channel, was able to go back and working with kids. I think it's a start. I think, unfortunately, this was the start, and maybe there's prior, of removing innocence from children and making them to appear like adults, so that things like this could be normalized, which it shouldn't be at all. Kids should be able to be children, have a childhood, and not have to worry about adult things happening to them or around them. That's my safest way of saying it on YouTube. So.
And then what's even crazy though is that I was already aging out of the TV shows like Victorious and Sam and Cat. I never saw those anymore. And when they were playing the footage of the things that they had like Ariana Grande doing and all that stuff, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's not something that kids should be watching at all. And like, if a parent were to see that, as adults, we know what these weird things are supposed to be. I don't understand how they got away with so much stuff. That's insane. That was really gross. I feel so bad for Ariana Grande too. Like, bleh.
Oh yeah, the whole like squeezing the potato.
Yes, and then like with her feet, and they had her doing
feet are everywhere in this.
Like, oh my gosh, yes. I can't even look at the Nickelodeon logo anymore. Like back then, I was like, oh, this is cool, and now I'm like, oh no.
And Corey Feldman warned everybody. Everybody thought he was crazy about everything he would say about what was going on with children in Hollywood. And now all this stuff is coming to light, and the whole Epstein thing and everything. And now all of this, and I'm like, he wasn't crazy. Some of them, and there was one individual, I was watching more information on it. It's this guy on the left-hand side. He's having mental breakdowns, but I think there's some truth in between of what he says, because if you've gone through abuse most of your childhood like that, of course you're not going to come out normal without therapy and years of it. And yeah, I wholeheartedly believe children should not be in Hollywood, and if they are, your mom and dad should be like within 5 feet of you at all times.
Look at Amanda Bynes. I feel so sorry for her. Like,
look at Britney
Spears. Look at Britney Spears.
Lindsay
Look at all
Lohan and so many of them. Like, it's awful. It sucks.
But like the thing about what you just said, Lily, like Lindsay Lohan, like, yeah, she went through it, but there's redemption. And look at her, look at her now, living her best life. She's a mom now. She's married. Yeah, she has trauma, and I'm sure she's gonna put in the much effort in her child to not live what she lived through.
Yeah. But this has been going on for a long time. Like, Drew Barrymore was one of those very young child actresses. E.T. was the first time I ever saw her. But she was supposedly like doing cocaine and smoking all kinds of stuff by the time she was like 10 or 11, and going to parties and being around all this stuff. And, that was basically, I think it was one of those secrets. I think Hollywood's one of those weird things, like whether the pedo stuff or the abusive stuff to adults that came out with Weinstein. Like, it was one of those things that people know about, but no one really does anything about. I think that's something that's, you know, pretty common in different, like, you know, within society, that we may know, like, oh yeah, that guy just, does sexual harassment to people, and then nobody does anything. Like, that could be, just more of a human thing, a society thing, because people really just care more about power and success than actually doing the right thing, unfortunately. A lot of times.
I think it also plays into what's going on politically in the world with bringing kids to things like drag shows that are inappropriate for kids, or pride parades which are inappropriate for kids and stuff like that. Like, actually not catering it to censoring themselves. And these parents are so brainwashed by bringing their kids to these things. You don't think they're going to be messed up in a couple years, that they're going to have an issue with their own identity because you're pushing an identity onto them? It's so weird to me that we went from let kids be kids and grow up and enjoy childhood to no, they have to be adults, like, right out of the womb. And it's scary to me that the direction that we're taking this in. Dr. Rachel, I would also like to hear your opinion on it as a doctor.
It's rough. Like, God, I don't even know where to begin. I could talk for hours, but a thought, it came to me, like, I remember, like, growing up, we kept hearing about, those of you old enough to remember, about all the Neverland Ranch stuff with Michael Jackson, right? Like, kids weren't safe. He was taking all these kids, but they're safe in Hollywood. And now it seems like it's completely reversed, where it's almost like the kids in Neverland were actually fine and almost protected against the shit with Epstein and Hollywood and everything like that. And it's just such a weird switch that we've seen over the years between, like you said, let kids be kids, to now make kids adults, basically, so pedos can have their way. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's weird. It gives kids so many problems. And it's just ignoring, like we see with all this identity politics and stuff, it's ignoring biology. Kids cannot give consent no matter what. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the brain development to do so. They simply cannot understand how to make an informed decision. They can't do it. And it's not a matter of like, oh, well, just let them grow up and introduce them to concepts early. They can't do it. You can't force your brain to make connections before it's ready to. Not to that degree. So it's so rough. And I'm sure, like, we have several health professionals on here already, here on the panel, here in the chat. And I'm sure you've all seen the directions this is going anyway. And it's rough. I feel so bad for all these kids that have to go through it, that went through it and are now adults, and they're watching other kids go through it now. It really hurts. It really does. I want to be a mom someday. And just thinking about all of that's going on now, and how it's acceptable to bring kids to these parades or these like readings at schools and libraries, these shows and strip clubs and whatever. No, it's not right. They can't understand that. Can you have a conversation with a kid? Sure. Wait until they're a little bit older, and then you can have the birds and the bees talk with them. How about that? As a parent.
Yeah. The parents should be doing it.
The parents need to be more informed. The parents need to be making these decisions that are right for their kids, not necessarily right so that they can project their own identities and issues and agendas onto their kids like billboards. Your kids are not billboards. They're kids. Let them be kids. Like, I think I was watching a clip from a couple days ago where there was a fight at like a preschool because a mother and her partner like had their kid wearing a shirt with two women kissing. And one of the parents is like, this makes me and my child uncomfortable. And then they're like, how dare you? You're just the homophobe and blah, blah, blah. And it just broke out into this big argument. I'm just like, your kid is not a billboard. If you want to wear the shirt to your own work or around town, fine. Do it. Go nuts. Or don't go nuts. You're a lesbian. You're not going to like nuts. but don't have your kid wear the shirt.
Yeah.
Your kid doesn't know what it means.
It went from we don't want anybody to know what's going on in our bedroom to like we want your kids to know what's going in our bedroom, and it's very sad. It's forcing these adult themes onto these children way too young, and then you wonder why they're messed up when they yeah. And
well, it's even worse than that. Like we're seeing with all this Nickelodeon stuff and Disney and everything like that. It's not even just we want to project our issues of the bedroom onto kids and have them know. No, it's actually bringing kids into the bedroom now. They're trying to make it okay, and it's not.
And the fact that Nickelodeon's executives were I think they played dumb because I think there was an incident in the documentary where they're talking about the Amanda Bynes show and how she played a character with the last name Taint. Now everybody knows what a taint is, right? So when the executives finally asked, like, is this something dirty or and they're like, no, it just means like, you know, they're tainted. I'm like, come on. Yeah, you're an adult. You should know what's going on. You know the behavior of these people. You should exactly know what's going on. And then you have a child portraying another child named after a genitalia part. I guess it's a genital. I don't. Lily, is it considered a genitalia part?
Oh, well, yes.
Okay.
It's in the general vicinity. So, I mean, yeah.
Okay. And it's weird to me that, again, the parents were okay with this. And how do you sleep at night? Knowing that these kids went through this stuff, knowing that you put these kids in the hands of these adults who don't care really about their well-being, only for what they can get out of them, in a sense. But that's Hollywood. Just allegedly, YouTube, allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're quiet. So moving on from quiet on set. Everybody, I hope you counted your Benjamins for the last time, because it's no longer all about the Benjamins.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I tried. All right. Everybody knows the Diddler is back. Puff Daddy had his home raided. I thought I saw today that he got arrested, but I don't think that was true.
He did not get arrested.
Is he still on the run? I believe.
I don't know if he's on the run, but his lawyers is saying that he's innocent, and there's that this is an overuse of force, and basically saying that he did nothing wrong, and his buddy, the drug mule guy, is to blame for everything. So
yeah, I don't think he on the run. I think he might even just comply just to prove he's innocent. But let's be real, guys. The truth is coming to light, everyone.
Can I just say something about P. Diddy? Like, he's a Miami guy, and I used to live in Miami, and it was like one of those well-known secrets, or known, is that even a thing? Like, being a well-known secret? Just everybody knew. Like, I had friends who used to party with that crew. Like, you know, not me. I'm not cool enough to do that, but I had friends who did party with his, like, I don't know, would sometimes go to their house or be at parties where they were. And I was told years ago that sus things were happening, orgies were happening, that he was gay, and I was just like, are you sure? I don't think so. Didn't he date J-Lo? It's like, oh no, he's totally gay, and you know, like there's just all kinds of debauchery. So it was like a thing, at least that I knew as a not social person in Miami. So if I imagine that if people were social people, like it was one of those things that's like a well-known thing. That nobody talks about, but we all talk about. But yeah, so I'm not at all surprised when this all came out, because it's like, well, yeah, I mean, we all knew that he was one of those people who had like the orgy parties all the time. Duh.
I think the problem is there's a couple conspiracies going around that it's related to children. I think there was a video I recently saw about him talking to Justin Bieber about how he mentored Usher and other, and then he wanted a sleepover, I guess, with allegedly. Like I didn't go too deep into it, but so I think you're right where there was like a DL, like if you know, you know. But I also think there's some kind of creepiness going on here, because if it was just adults that he's having these parties with, I don't think he would be raided. Mm-hmm. Depending on what's on his stuff and what's been going on. I mean, he has a candy room. That's a little weird.
Yeah, it's kind of
That I did not know that, and that's actually more creepy.
I mean, he's an adult. He can have candy. Like, hey, if I had $1 million, I would build a really nice movie theater in my house. Like, I get it, but it's just strange that all of these things are connecting. Now, again, these are allegations, right? Innocent till proven guilty. But I also think he might be taking the fall for a lot of things that have been brought to attention in Hollywood, maybe.
He didn't renew his membership
To the Illuminati, I guess.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
He didn't complete what was asked of him.
He hasn't kissed Madonna in a good minute.
It's not funny. Sorry. I don't know, because Justin Bieber, after he did go a little weird for a while too, so who knows where that came from, that he was like struggling, I think, with drugs or alcohol or something. So I don't know.
Well, he got arrested. We're still. Go ahead, Lily. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, no, I was just saying I don't know if it's related, because I mean he did go through something, and I'm not sure if it's because things happened to him or
like thinking about it, because when Justin started turning for the better for his life is after he got arrested in Florida. Where is P. Diddy's mansion? It's in Florida, right? So because he got arrested for, I think, DUI, because he was driving under the influence. So I think that was Justin Bieber's waking moment, like he needs to get out of it, because since then he stopped talking to all of the friends that he was friends with. And then now he's just low-key doing his own stuff with his wife.
I don't know, Trish. I don't know why. Well, Kesha has that line, waking up like P. Diddy. She's got a lot of messed up.
Not gonna wake up like him no more.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I'm sad too, because I have to watch Godzilla 1998 per stream, and there's that Puff Daddy music video.
Oh no.
Right?
True.
Do you think that these people are being caught now because of the strength of social media and the ability to transfer information so fast? Because I don't like, how did he go so, if he's guilty, again, innocent till proven guilty, if he's guilty, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years of this stuff been collected and nobody knew what was going on? I mean, I get from you, Joe, like people knew what was going on the DL because they were local. But why all of a sudden he's being raided now?
Honestly, Nadia, conspiracy theory time.
Go for it.
I think he is just taking the fall for something so that it'll shut people up for now and say, oh no, look, they're totally doing something about this, so that they can keep doing it, under wraps. Because if you like for example, remember how we had the big ol' drama that happened with Balenciaga, and for that moment everyone was pissed off at Balenciaga, whatever. Kim Kardashian came out and was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they were doing all of these things, and why? And now she's actually their brand ambassador. So I mean, no one cares anymore about Balenciaga. So I think he's just taking the fall for it right now to shut people up and say, no, you see, guys, they're catching these people, they're doing something about it, and it takes attention away from all the other things that they're actually doing. I
agree.
And then not conspiracy theorists as well, to jump on Lily's thing as well. Look what happened the next day. The bridge happened in Baltimore.
Are we connecting
the bridge to? All right, let's all put our. Joe's
I am connecting the bridge. Yes.
I don't have enough tinfoil for this hat.
Have you been drinking tonight? Is this?
No, I haven't. Just water.
You sure
That's for another night.
Yeah.
No
Please,
vodka.
I'm interested. Connect P. Diddy to the bridge. Go.
Well, okay. So what Lily's saying, it's a distraction. He's taking the bullet for whatever's happening right now. So yeah, that makes sense. And then look what happened. The bridge. It's a travesty that happened. It's a huge. Is there a mass casualty? I know some people have.
I think it was 6 people missing still that they just assume make it.
But it was a cargo ship too, and out of all the years that the cargo ship has gone through that, why did that one malfunction? And then if you think about it, the Obamas came out with a documentary. I can't remember what the documentary is called. I think it's Yes, and it's about a boat crashing into a bridge. I was like, oh my gosh. And it's just like it's just a distraction. So that I do believe that they're just I would like to be proven wrong because I like to, be given evidence like, okay, maybe it's not connected. Lord, if it does but if it does come into light, like it was a total accident, total failure, yes, I'll own up to it. But I just have my suspicion. I'm like, why did P. Diddy get raided? And then now we're distracted with the bridge because it was a travesty that happened that people were now, oh my gosh, those people, we need to pray for them. We need to see what we can do to help out when P. Diddy's got some stuff going on. And, even though he's been known to mess around with things.
But people have been saying things for years, though. So I don't know if anybody listened to the Cat Williams, Joe Rogan episode, a little crazy, but people have said stuff like this for years. Also, the 50 Cent has been saying stuff for years about P. Diddy as well. I don't know necessarily if it deals with children, but just being gay in general. There was
Cassie came out and said all of this stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
That was like a big old, that made headlines too, that Cassie finally came out and started saying all of the messed up things that he used to do and used to have her do when they were actually married. And it's oh my gosh, it was so disgusting. I feel so bad for her. But yeah, all of this, there's no denying that something weird was happening.
And I listened to the leaked audio of him with Meek Mill, another rapper, which I do not recommend for anybody to listen to. But again, I don't care if you're gay, go for it, man. I mean, now is the day and age to come out gay, right? I mean, I feel like he would be praised, but I think also it's an issue that deals in. So here's my conspiracy theory hat. I think the reason why he hasn't come out as gay or homosexual is because in the Black community, especially for Black men, that is a no-no. Even if you are, you keep it on the DL. And it's a culture thing, not saying it's right or wrong, but I think that's one of the reasons why maybe he hasn't been forefront of being gay. So marrying a woman and stuff. And now all this stuff is coming out.
100%.
On the flip side, if it's just adults, why'd he run?
It's true. Why are you run?
What are they waiting for?
Well, drugs. There was a lot of drug stuff too. Yeah.
That's true.
But also, I mean, that gets you attention nowadays because look at Lil Nas X. He's very out, and no one has any issues with that. But I guess Diddy is from a different generation. So yeah, I guess in his generation, it's still taboo, whereas Lil Nas X came out and everyone was like, yeah, he's gay. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, but what you just said, Lily, like he had a credibility. He was in the urban music industry. So he had to be tough. He had to be like, yeah, drugs, women, all this stuff. And then just slowly revealing all this stuff. So he had to build an identity for himself versus Nas X. Like, yeah, I'm into that. And then people praise him, what you just said. So Diddy, just had to build that for himself versus it wasn't easy for him back then.
I don't really feel like this is distracting though, because at least maybe it's just because I'm in the tin hat community, on my social feeds. But this is basically opened up to, well, Jay-Z also has stuff that we should be talking about.
Yes. The Carters. Mm-hmm. Yes. Both of them. Both of them. They've always given me red flags. Always. Listen, Beyonce, B, whatever. They always have been giving me red flags. It's just the way, especially when they do music together and just if you watch their music, it's just something about it's very creepy. Her pregnancies were very creepy too. Yeah. Very Illuminati. Listen, allegedly, right? We don't know if it's true.
Yeah, we don't know.
I think honestly, Illuminati is like a forefront of we're just gonna joke about, and there's an actual organization that let them constantly think it's the Illuminati, but it's not really. That's my tin hat theory. If I go missing,
no, they're creepy. They give me the creeps. I'm sorry,
right? And I actually think she's been brainwashed completely. from if you look at her from when she was younger, in Destiny's Child and stuff, and then when they got married and stuff, and just how her career has been, I truly believe she's been brainwashed. Not saying she's not at fault, right? She's an adult, but if there's stuff that comes out about those two, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be. I wouldn't even be mildly shocked.
Well, somebody in her who used to play in her band actually came out and said that Beyonce was allegedly doing a lot of witchcraft and really weird things during her, like on tours and stuff, and that she actually did something to this. I think it was the drummer. I'm not really sure what she did in the band, but yeah, she came out and basically said it. And she's like, yes, you guys need to pay attention. And she started saying all of these other things. And of course, I followed the rabbit hole all the way that led me to Beyonce basically replaced Aaliyah in this entire thing, that they orchestrated something so that Beyonce has the career that Aaliyah was supposed to have. Allegedly.
I really like this conspiracy theory.
And that and Beyonce has stolen. They're also saying that A. Marie, I don't know if you guys remember that artist from back then too, that she's the one that started with that sound that Beyonce came out with in her first album, that she also killed her career, because when Beyonce came out with it, they said, oh, this is new, this is catchy, we've never heard this before. And it was actually A. Marie. They pushed her music, her song, to be released, I think, after Beyonce's, so that it would look like Beyonce was the one that started all of that. So yeah, she's shady.
Who's that woman who's really close to a lot of the Hollywood elites who practices witchcraft? Like, she's very close with the Kardashians.
Marina something, right?
Something, yeah. And she's close to the Carters too, as well.
I know, because she's like, Lady Gaga used to be one of my favorite artists. Not anymore, because now she's creepy too. But she like hangs out with her a lot, and she's around all these people. So yeah, they're all connected, all weird. Ugh.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. Well, and then the Illuminati thing, because I know there's like a huge thing when it happened a few years ago at the Super Bowl when Beyonce performed, and everybody jumped on it like, look, it's satanic, like she's doing this ritual. Even like her outfit, like people pointed out, like her outfit was like in the shape of like a goat head, and all the little dances they did. I was like, yeah, like, because I was raised Christian, so all my family and friends who are like hella Christian, like, oh, that's demonic, that's demonic. So at the time I was like, yeah, like, sure, like you just are pointing everything that's wrong in the world. And then thinking about it like now as an adult, like that makes more sense now. So I kind of do see it. So yeah, it's like go ahead, Nadia.
Satanic visuals in everything nowadays. Everything you can find something, which is really listen, I'm for freedom of speech, freedom to express yourself. If you want to believe in this stuff, I'll pray for you. But it's, people don't understand there's a lot of power in the power of voice, like speaking, music and stuff. And for them to have all of this stuff visually there on stage for your children, because most of these crowds in these concerts are kids or young adults, to be influenced by that. Wasn't there a concert a while back that a couple people died from that had a lot of satanic
Travis Travis Scott
is it? Yeah.
Astroworld.
And
people forget about it, right?
Well, not only that, like, yeah, people forgot about it, but they acted as like, oh, it's, you know, nothing much. Like 17 people died from that, and they were all kids too.
And there's people screaming for people to help them too as well. And nope, they just, you know, didn't do it. So I just say pray for everybody at this point.
These concerts are all like, I'm with you, freedom of speech, whatever you want to do, but at the same time, be careful what you listen to, because like another artist that I stopped listening to and stopped supporting is Doja Cat. All of a sudden she went all crazy too, and she's like, no guys, this is like my new era, and it's like, oh, okay, but I don't want to get possessed listening to your music. So
yeah, but you like,
we're not gonna do that.
Well, the fact that she's dressing up like realistic as the devil, like, and even just blatantly out there, just giving praise to it too. Like, no, that's just terrible. And then I'm with you on the Lady Gaga thing because I love Lady Gaga, but she's too weird. But like, I've been tempted, like, I actually do want to see her in concert because I do like her, but like, she's creepy, and I don't want to see anything weird. But I still enjoy her music. But it's a hard thing for me to kill, and that's what people need to do is just kill off what's evil and step away from that.
Well,
Lily.
Taylor Swift too at her concert that she's performing witchcraft in the middle of this whole thing, and everyone's like, "No, she's not. It's just some innocent little dance or what." That's creepy. But
That's Doja Cat.
yeah, it's Doja, and yeah, because there's I guess the song that Taylor has that all of a sudden in the middle of her set, it's a creepy forest, and then all of a sudden people that are hooded come out with these orbs, and they're in a circle around her, and they start doing this like weird dancing, and then everyone's like, guys, it's just dancing. You guys are reading too much into it. And I'm like, bro, I've seen a lot of horror movies. That looks like witchcraft to me. I'm sorry. Like,
and not only that, like, she's a diva. So a good friend of mine, his band, fun fact, his band was in, what's that song of Taylor Swift? I Knew You Were Trouble When You Walked In. So that music video, they were the band that was at the concert like she goes to. They hated working with her. She's a diva. She's like awful. She was supposed to be at the set for them performing the, whatever concert she was supposed to go to. She was supposed to be there at 12. She didn't show up till 4 a.m. So I don't know. It's just, I don't like her. Ever since my friends told me that, like, they waited from like 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the morning just for her to show up and get ready. And yeah, I just never liked her ever since they did my friends dirty. And then even now, like, her little seances in the forest on the stage, but people just playing it off like, oh no, that's just like her. Like,
yeah,
it's
no,
just,
it's
and
then
then it's bad.
Joe, what do you think? Put your little conspiracy hat on of this whole I mean, we went off the rails here of this whole satanic symbolism.
One last thing, Joe, before you say it. I also think it's weird that there's now college courses about Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Well, there's college courses about Harry Potter.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
I was like, that was an actual Harry Potter course when I was in college.
Yeah.
I was like,
Isn't like Matthew McConaughey teaching like his own course or something?
Probably.
Himself? I don't know.
I would take it.
on himself.
I would take it.
On himself.
Not himself.
I'll take that class.
I would
He's
totally
like,
take
He's
right,
it.
going to be the expert on himself, so he may as well teach it.
Can we
He's
just
like-
talk about True Detective season 1 the whole
love that,
time?
though.
Yes, he's
I
like, all
Matthew
right.
McConaughey, he's allowed. He's amazing.
He's,
Wait,
and then
I would-
when you get to the class, he's like, welcome to class 101. All right.
That's what I was gonna say. I want to look up the like actual name of the class. It's like all right, 101 by
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
But
But
no,
Joe, your thoughts. Sorry.
No, absolutely. I agree that there's definitely, it's not a conspiracy. I think it's there's just too much stuff out there. Like, if you want to go back to tin hat stuff, like that video Alex Jones had years ago of the island and all those rituals, like I believe in that stuff. I really do think that's real. There was a Mexican boxer that just came out saying that this is all happening to him, that he was initiated and he was raped and stuff like that. I forgot who the name of the boxer. It's somebody who's coming up, becoming famous, and he finally was like, I gotta come out and say this stuff. And he went on, I hate Andrew Tate. I find him annoying. I think it's his voice or maybe his face. I don't know what it is. I just can't stand him. But he had him on the show and came out, give him a platform to talk about it. I definitely think that there's something to it. I definitely think there's just, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's just too many instances, too many like things pointing to things happening. I think symbolism will be their downfall. They can't help themselves. And Lily, I knew Doja Cat was trouble when she shaved her eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was weird. I started getting all the vibes from her, and then she came out with all her demonic stuff, and I'm all, oh, nope, off my playlist. Bye, girl.
The cat thing. Also, the fact in Chicago they had statues of her as the devil too.
Yes, all covered in blood. What is that?
But
Where
they kick
kids are walking.
But they kick preachers and Christian symbolisms out of everything. But Satanism is allowed to be everywhere, but the moment somebody puts up a cross, oh my, I just.
But like, what's funny and
Pray
also
for them.
not funny at the same time is that I think that the actual like satanic church or something came out and denounced all these people, and they're like, no, this is even too weird. Like for us, we're not all about any of this.
Like we like just stay back, guys.
Yeah. And then Sam Smith too. He's another one.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what happened? Your music used to be so beautiful, and now it's all satanic and weird.
Do you think that this has actually been, because at least again, symbolism wise, like I'm old enough that I remember, the 80s and 90s music or watching back, it's like, there was always like things like Madonna kind of like dabbling in religious icon stuff, and what was the one video where you know which one I'm talking about, the
one where she's in the church?
Yes, that one. I'm not gonna sing it, but I can hear it in my head.
Papa Don't Preach?
It's not Papa Don't Preach.
Like a
Virgin?
Nope,
No,
that's not it either. It's like
a prayer, like a prayer.
Yeah. Great song, but there's always been kind of religious again, icon imagery and stuff, but never before like this era where it's just become so popular to have the goat and the demonic symbolism, and it's so cool, and the blood shoes. I don't know if you know about that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's in lyrics. It's in I know they're referring to Louis Vuitton sometimes, but I really don't think it's just that. I think there is a lot more to it. A Lil Nas X came out with those sneakers that actually had a drop of human blood in them. Like, it's gone off the rails. It's become so mainstream, and I wonder if it's, something, who's really pushing it? Where did this come from? But I do believe it is a modern era situation that is, I do believe that they're making moves. I don't know if they're ramping up to do something or to take over society or push even more harder than they ever have. But yeah, it's definitely troublesome.
Yeah, because remember, oh my gosh, I'm exposing all the music I used to listen to. Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
He was pretty creepy and pretty crazy, but when they used to interview him, he would make it really obvious that he's like, guys, this is like an act. This isn't actually me, and I'm not telling you guys to do these things. This is just me as an artist expressing myself. But he made it very clear, but artists nowadays, they kind of really don't. They're just like, deal with it. I'm gonna do this weird stuff, and you guys just have to just roll with it.
Well, not with artists. What's that one girl I kind of don't like, but she's married to John Legend?
Chrissy Teigen.
Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, I straight up don't like her. I never liked her in the beginning, but she like posts on Twitter like what she does, like cutting your hand and then like doing like little creepy like words like, oh, you have to feel the pain in order to like do this, and she's doing it with her kids too. It's like, that's demonic. And like even the artwork in their house too is demonic.
It's allegedly. I really
allegedly
think she's one of those in the ring. Like, there's some really creepy things she's said about kids and stuff, and jokes she's made. So like, she's big red flag.
She scrubbed her Twitter. She like closed it out and scrubbed it all because they were finding all these tweets. Yeah, weird.
It's oof. I like this, Dr. Rachel. Even in the era of the 70s and 80s rock, where people were against devil worship music, society was also pushing Christianity. But here we're pushing satanic symbols in media against Christianity. Also with the Satanic Panic, with Dungeons and Dragons and other media sources too.
Yeah, they weren't also pushing Christian values at that time. They were very much like, oh, this one thing is bad, but they weren't saying, they weren't pushing other values. Whereas it seems like in today's society, we're not just like saying we're against this one thing. We're also saying we should be for this. Like like y'all have been saying, all the symbolism in music and in these videos and everything, all this like devils and witchcraft on stage and whatever. They're also, society is pushing back against Christian values and conservative values. We're not just saying like it's okay to be a woman. No, we're also saying it's bad to be a man, and you should be a woman, and man should transition to women, and like regular women are bad, and feminism is like a bad thing unless it's masculine. You know, it's so many things wrapped up that it's not just one value anymore. It's pushing an agenda of values. So I think you can't really, a lot of people that try to go against, like argue against what's going on today are like, well, look at the past and, you know, there was all this other stuff, right? It's similar. And I'm just like, no, it's not nearly to the degree that it is today. It really isn't.
No, there isn't. Because I mean, there's always been rock bands who kind of push it a little bit, and they have all this imagery and all their stuff, but not like today where you have Taylor Swift, a pop star. A pop star doing stuff like that. You would expect it from a rock band because sometimes you know how this ongoing thing from decades ago where the parents were like, you're listening to the devil's music, so they kind of ran with it. But a pop star, Taylor Swift, like Sam Smith, who's also a pop star, like really, I don't
like Taylor Swift, who is also fan base are little girls. I see like the little clip videos on Reels, and it's like little girl, like moms taking their daughters to go see Taylor Swift. Is like, oh my gosh, this is like 7 years old. Like, you're exposing them. Like, oh my gosh, I become my parent after saying that. I became my mom.
And then Dr. Rachel,
welcome to adulthood.
Dr. Rachel is so right, because there was a while ago where they were criticizing Beyonce, a lot of the pastors, because she has a song where she's literally telling girls that not to be good church girls anymore, they need to go out and be twerking all over the place. Like, what kind of, why are you pushing this kind of stuff? It's weird. And then if you notice, all of the latest rappers that are out there, they're all trashy. I listened to hip hop and rap music back then, and yes, it was questionable, but it's not to the level of how they have it now. I listen to the lyrics and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like Ice Spice and that Sexy Red and all of these people.
Lotto. Yeah.
I mean, just look at WAP. Just look at WAP.
It is all of it. It's like
there's always pushing. You're right, Lily. There's always been sexual innuendos in music, but it's never been on the forefront like nowadays it is.
Like,
or so direct.
Yeah, like Sexy Red song, that there was a TikTok of this girl who's a ballet teacher, and she's like, I can't believe that all of these little girls were asking me for this one particular song that they had been listening, I'm guessing, at home. She's like, and if you play the lyrics, they're obscene, like beyond. And she was upset. She's like, I don't even want to teach anymore because I'm reaching out to the parents and telling them what's going on. And the parents are like, and what? Like, you're the teacher, deal with it. Like, seriously?
There's no subtlety. Everyone, like you're saying, it's not just like one group or one artist or a couple of artists. It's so many that are so popular everywhere. Yeah, like with WAP, like everyone does their own videos on it. It will not die as a song. It's a terrible song.
It is Ben Shapiro's favorite song.
By the way, I've heard of this Sexy Red person, but I've never heard her music, so I just Googled her, and she's got a song called Pound Town.
Yes, that one. That one.
Like, oh my
and then
God.
what's even worse is that she came out and said that she's supporting Donald Trump. And I'm like, no, don't let her trick you.
Don't want you.
You guys, we don't want you.
No, we do.
We'll take the vote, but
we do, because it brings people from the other side into a conversation that we can have to bring over. So, like, as much as we don't want her, we do want the people who listen to her, and it's kind of like a gateway for them. So,
as long as people are willing to converse, though.
Yeah,
as long as people are willing to have that discussion. Then
yes.
Well, okay, I had a dumb thought, but I'm going to say it anyway. How we just said, like, oh, she's 100% voting for Trump. And then the thought of Lily just said, like, well, you know, Marilyn Manson, like, it's all an act, guys. It's not this. Maybe Sexy Red's doing that too. Like, it's this act, guys. But, like, now thinking about it is like, no, that is a dumb thing because she is singing about this stuff.
Yes. So. No, and then she had, like, a spicy tape that leaked or something, and she was all proud of it, and I'm like, no, No.
Well, girls are supposed to be proud of their sexualities and being promiscuous and having a body count nowadays, you know.
But what is a girl? I still don't have a definition.
No, we still don't have
Bring
a
back public
definition.
shaming. Bring back public shaming.
It's crazy.
But on that note, we're going to end here. Joe, thank you so much for, being a
Yay.
conspiracy theorist with us. Where can people find you next if they're looking?
Yeah, absolutely. Go give me a follow on Kick, Real Joe Rosie. I actually have a YouTube, Real Joe Rosie as well. There's no videos there, but this week I have Restream now. I'm actually putting some videos on, going live on that. The goal is to, once I get that channel up and running, the goal is to have a podcast running soon. So stay tuned, but go ahead and give me a sub.
Very cool. And Dr. Rachel, I saw your sword. What do you got going on next?
Oh god, I'm blurry as heck. I
You're fine.
finally finished my sword, the master sword. I actually have it right here
Yay.
by my side, which I will show off. Video for that is coming out tomorrow.
Oh, that looks so
That
cool.
was so cool.
Oh my gosh.
It's huge.
Nice.
But yeah, so you will see this on display in the background of Hollywood's dollar. It's his
Oh,
his
that's-
sword now, but he let me borrow it for this video.
Yay.
But yeah, that video is coming out on my channel, Adeline Crafting, tomorrow. Probably tomorrow early afternoon. But otherwise, you can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, Saran_cosplay. Just keep an eye out for other things I will be doing. I posted
Very
there.
cool. Nomi.
Hi, I'm Nomi. You can find me on Twitter or Twix, nomiwithoutyou. I have a YouTube channel, nomiwithoutyou. I will be hanging out with Green Hair Anti-Liberal and others pretty soon on a stream. And then I can't remember the stream name right now. I'm sorry. I had a terrible nap, but I'm still recovering from it. You can also find me on Midnight's Edge Espanol, where I do some shorts there. And I will be at the Vegas meetup. You can catch me there. And if you want to hang out, come through.
Very cool. And Lily, last but not least.
You can also find me on Twix at 300 Mirrors also. And also on Midnight's Edge Espanol doing shorts. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, just follow me on Twitter and then I'll just put up whatever's happening at the time. The easiest way.
Very cool. For me, you can find me here on Inside All Day. Usually you can find me Wednesdays on Zach's What's Good Wednesday. And then I also have a second channel where I talk more about culture war stuff with my best friend who is a liberal. I am more of a conservative. She's a liberal. That is called The Laundry Podcast, where we talk and, see if we agree on things. So please go check out that channel as well. I want to thank our mods. Shmoo, thank you so much for modding the chat today. Thank you for everybody who stopped by. I hope everyone has a great night. Until then, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.